Hi everyone. So today I want to look at 4 books and do a brief comparison and highlight what every book I think has most of, because I don't want to make that decision for you if you're thinking which book you should buy, but I personally bought all 4 gradually because I think that every single book is beautiful. I want this video to be quite comprehensive, but at the same time the full reviews for every single one of those books are already up on my channel, so if you want to have a look, I'll try to put the links in the description box for you. Then you'll get a better sort of idea of every book, because I do like a mini flip through. Okay, so let's start with the first book. So the first book was published in 2006 as a hardcover. So this is a paperback, and the paperback was first published in 2014. But I found this book to be great for things like orchids and roses. There is a really large number of both of those flowers in this book. You will find, for example, a rose in I think pretty much every of her books. However, in every book Billy seems to concentrate on a specific flower or a specific plant and dedicate quite a big spread to those. And in this book it happens to be the orchids and the roses, so it's great for that. I also mentioned before that this book, that's my personal opinion, I found that comparing to the others, it had quite a large number of foliage. So if you are keen to learn how to paint leaves, then you can see them a lot here. So there's plenty of those. And then, like I said, there are loads of orchids and roses, so there is no need for me to show you the entire thing, because I've done this in a full review, but so you get the idea. I'll show you the end result actually if you're watching for the first time. So that's the end result. Very, very beautiful. Okay, so let's look at the next book. So the second book was published as a hardcover in 2009. Again, I have the paperback, and the paperback was published same year, 2014. So this book is called Watercolor Fruit and Vegetable Portraits. And this book obviously is great for vegetable and fruit illustration. However, it does have some flowers as well, because there's loads of blossoms that Billy demonstrates as well. It's a gorgeous book, and it's got a big variety of all sorts of berries and different types of aubergines and pears, apples. I have done this artichoke for my kitchen, so it's hanging in a frame. I've got a video about that if you want to see. And then strawberry is relatively easy-ish, although it has a lot of detail because of the pips, but compared to some others, I personally find that the strawberry would be easier to do. So there's loads and loads to paint, and very, very beautiful book. I personally absolutely adore veggie and berries and all of that, watercolor illustrations, and so yeah, so it was really enjoyable. And as always, the foliage is always present, obviously, because it's a part of the plant. So now let's look at the book number 3, and this is a hardcover. So this was published in 2010, and it's called A to Z of Flower Portraits, and got a lovely spread of hydrangeas. If you like hydrangeas, you will enjoy this book, because it's got different colors. I think a blue hydrangea and a pink hydrangea, and you got quite a variety to paint. Also in terms of compositions, there's a lot of sort of bouquets and the way Billy kind of positions her flowers, for example here, the way she arranges them, and as you can see, it's not just a singular flower, but it's actually teaching you of how to make a portrait basically out of these beautiful flowers. So what's different about this book is that about this much of the book, so let me just show you like so. So this part of the book is just talking about techniques and teaching you how to do things and materials, obviously, etc. And it's got lovely beautiful illustrations as always. But then this part of the book, so this one I'd say is a 1/3, and the 2/3 of the book, the remaining part, is the A to Z. And what makes this book different is the fact that you have basically flowers on the alphabetical order, and you have a quick overview here. So if there's anything particular you like, you can find it. For example, let's find hydrangeas, so page 72. So the layout is very different to her other books, and I'll show you. So we get to page 72. On the left page, try not to knock over my cup of coffee, you get a little bit of the description of the flower, and so that's really inspiring to read a little bit about that. And then on this side you get a list of the watercolors that you will need. And so here are the main watercolors. She then also explains if you need to mix them. For example, here there is a mix of colors to get to this color, etc, etc. So then she guides you what you need to do step by step. So there are 13 steps in this particular one. And on the right side you then get this beautiful illustration of hydrangeas. Now you have quite a variety here, so if you look at it, you've got few singular leaves which you can try to paint or start with. You also have these, which are beautiful first steps of the flower. And then you can, if you want, you can trace the image. That's what I really like about Billy's books, is that she has a pencil sketch which you can easily trace, and if you're struggling with drawing or find it very difficult, you can begin to learn by doing that. And then of course you have from different perspectives, you have singular flowers over here, and you have also the buds of the hydrangea flowers. And then the next one, there is also a pink hydrangea if you prefer the pink. This is the freshest. It's got the freshest part right here, which is the pinkest, and then it's got a little bit drying parts here. The leaves are starting to look a little bit more drier, and then it goes even slightly darker here. So it's sort of like stages of it. And again on this side, as you can see, she's guiding you step by step. So it's 1, 2 and 3, and you can start also by trying this if you're too scared to do a whole bud of the hydrangea. And you can see the difference of the leaves, so it's got more purple to it, whereas the blue hydrangea doesn't have as much. So that's very pretty. So that gives you the idea of this book. So now let's look at the final book. So her 4th book was published. This is also hardcover. It was published in 2016, and it's this gorgeous book that has this beautiful rose, and it's a different size. So the previous 3 were the same size. This is more of a square format. It's not exactly square, I don't think, but it's similar to a square. Then so this book is a great all-rounder. It has fruit and veg, it has flowers, it's got everything. If you just want to buy one book and you don't know which book to choose, then it depends what you like. If you're not keen on fruit and veg and you just want flowers, then either the first or the third book would be for you. If you would like to obviously concentrate more on fruit and veg, then it's an easy pick. It would be the second book. However, if you want to try a bit of everything, I think this book would be the best option, just because it's got everything in there. And this is, I think, yeah, this is how I started. I first bought this book, and then I realized I wanted to have more of the flowers, more of the fruit and veg, and eventually I bought all of them because they're all very beautiful.